Good job.
All right. Good morning. Oh, I love it. Isn't this a fantastic day? Someone else must have wanted us to have the Purple Line get going, because what a gorgeous day at the end of August, where it should be 95 degrees and 80% humidity, and yet we have a gorgeous day like this. So I have to tell you, this day would not have been possible without the partnerships that have been working on this project for a very long time. And we will not be doing introductions of the crowd, because that would use up the entire hour and a half that's laid out for this, because there are so many dignitaries here. But I would very much want to introduce the dignitaries that will be speaking today. And we have Governor Larry Hogan. And we have the U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao. U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen. Congressman Anthony Brown. Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. And Prince George's County Executive Rashern Baker. So I'm going to share a little information that probably I shouldn't, but I can tell you the reason we're in Prince George's County is when I was having to beg for more money from the counties for the project, Rashern said, if you do the groundbreaking in Prince George's County, we'll put the money up. And we are in Prince George's County, and they put the money up. So I also want to thank Maryland's entire congressional delegation, which has been so important to this project, having secured significant appropriations in the past, and we will need more appropriations in the future, just to give you a little heads up. So the state and local elected officials who have been on the front line working for this, our entire WMATA partners who have had to work with us nearly every day as we continue to work and make sure that we have a seamless linking of our two systems. Purple Line transit advocates. I happen to see a number of build light rail signs that have now been turned into building light rail. I love it. And this lady's been waiting to ride, and you're going to get that opportunity. So, all of the transportation professionals in all of the offices who have worked on this project for so long, thank you so much. And thanks to all of your tireless efforts, we've made it. You know, it's been a long road, but we are finally here today to sign the full funding grant agreement with our federal partners and break ground on the long-awaited Purple Line. The Purple Line will be a great connection for Maryland's transportation network, for Maryland residents and businesses, but also will be a national model as the largest P3 contract ever built. Governor Hogan, thank you for your leadership, your tenacity, and your laser focus to make this project happen. Without you, we would not be standing here today making the Purple Line a reality. Without you, it could not simply have happened. The Purple Line is going to be your legacy to Maryland. Generations to come will use the Purple Line to connect them to life's opportunities throughout the National Capital Region. And now, let's get started with our speakers whom you came to hear and not me. So our first speaker has been a strong supporter of the Purple Line since day one. His county provided millions of dollars in funding to support the Purple Line. Please welcome Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. Let me start by acknowledging someone who is not here today with us. We would not be here but for his vision, his dedication, his commitment. And many of you do not know him. He died a few years ago. That is the late Harry Saunders. Before there was a name called Purple Line, he was there. Before there was this coalition pulled together to fight for it, he was there. Before there were many supporters and funding, he was there. He was there because he believed in this project, and in many ways, what has happened is a result of his vision, his commitment that has allowed us to move forward in this regard. He was not an elected official. He was just a community activist. And he fought for this day in and day out. Let me also acknowledge my county council, because sight unseen, when the secretary presented me with a series of options about funding and what we needed to do in order to move this project forward, I made a commitment, putting Montgomery County out front with a large amount of money without knowing precisely what they will say. They backed this project up 100%. So thank all the members of the county council, George Leventhal, Nancy Florine, Sid Katz, and Hans Riemann in the back. Let me also acknowledge and thank my partner here in Prince George's County, Rashawn Burke, who was very clever, realizing that this will be held here. I knew that he would probably come up with a scheme like that to make sure that this happened. But before he said yes, Pete and I had already talked, and I said, Pete, I'm going to say yes, and if I say yes, I'm reasonably certain that he's going to follow suit with his money as well. Let me acknowledge and thank our governor, because the governor and Pete made a commitment to me and to Rashawn that they were going to support this project. And despite many challenges, lawsuits, challenges from all circles, from both counties and throughout this region, he never wavered. So, Governor, thank you again for your leadership on this project. And, of course, our congressional delegation, who has fought for years to make sure this happened, and we are here as a result of that. You're going to hear about all the benefits of this project, how it helps in terms of our regional economy, helps in our transit operation. Most importantly, it helps the quality of life. People who are stuck in traffic. And all you have to do is experience that today if you rode around 410 to coming over here. We are going to improve that. And this project is a commitment and a dedication to that. I'm not going to take long. I simply want to end by thanking all of the people who worked so hard and so long. As we stood at the Silver Spring Library a few months ago, I said that we will have this project. It will, in fact, be built. It may take a little bit longer. We have to stay at court a little bit longer, but it will, in fact, happen. Today is testimony to that and testimony to the commitment for what is right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, County Executive. Our next speaker has also been a major supporter of the Purple Line, has made significant contributions to it, and we are pleased to have him join us here today in his county. Join me in welcoming Prince George's County Executive, Rashawn Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. It gives me great pleasure to say, isn't it a great day in Prince George's County? I do want to thank Secretary Chao for being here. Thank you very much. I too, want to add my thanks to the governor for his commitment, and County Executive Leggett is absolutely right. We met with the governor early on, and he said he was committed to the Purple Line, and he made it happen. So let's give him a round of applause also. I do want to thank Congressman Brown for not only his work as our congressman here, but also his work as lieutenant governor along with Governor O'Malley, beginning this process and working with us. Let's give them a round of applause. And certainly our Senator, Chris Van Hollen, if we can give him a round of applause, isn't it great? Now, Ike started something, I think he started correctly, and that is he thanked his county council. I want to thank them also, Montgomery County County Council and their delegation, but certainly Prince George's County and our delegation, if we can give them a round of applause. Because as the county executive said, we made a commitment to the governor and to the secretary that we would put additional money into this project. We did it not just to benefit Prince George's County and Montgomery County, because what County Executive Leggett knows is that this project is about the state. We're very proud in Prince George's County that we're creating jobs. But we're even prouder that this will not only get people off the roads, will help with the environment, but also will create job opportunities throughout this great state. And that expands our economy here. And so this is a great day for all Marylanders. So I do like to close with this and thank the people of Prince George's County and the people of Montgomery County for seeing fit to pay more to do this because it's good for the state. I couldn't help as we were mingling around before it started, talking with, my senator, Senator Paul Pinsky, and he had one of his old newsletters going back even before the O'Malley-Brown administration about the Purple Line and getting it started. And it couldn't help but remember that, for a lot of times, people didn't think this would happen. And here we are this day, on this great day. It is not only happening, but I think it's fitting that the first groundbreaking of a metro system happens in Prince George's County, happens to be the Purple Line. It's a great day for us. God bless you.
And thank you, County Executive Baker. Our next speaker has been a true leader while representing the people of Maryland in Congress and in the U.S. Senate. He understands that the Purple Line will strengthen Maryland's economy and ensures the people of Maryland have access to the infrastructure that they need to excel. Please welcome Senator Chris Van Hollen.
All right. Well, thank you, Pete, and it's great to be with all of you on this important day. I think Pete said it best at the outset. We made it. So congratulations to all of you who are here today, a very important milestone. It's been like a long-distance run, like a long-distance relay run, with one administration after the other passing the baton to the next at the local level, the state level, at the federal level, always fueled by citizens who were pushing to make sure that we did the right thing for our region. So thank all of you gathered here who have been such an important part of this team. To Secretary Chao, thank you for coming in as Secretary of the Department of Transportation and immediately recognizing the importance of this project and giving it the final green light at the federal level. Thank you very much to Secretary Chao. And she and I have talked about making sure we maintain that federal funding commitment going forward, working with all of you today. I also want to thank the governor. Thank you, Governor Hogan, for your commitment to this project and for also assembling the very innovative P3 approach to this and for making sure the state provided this important financial commitment. Thank you to Governor Hogan. And it is a team effort, as the governor and the lieutenant governor know. The General Assembly, I see many of those members here today from Prince George's County, from Montgomery County, and other parts of the state. Thank you for being part of that team effort at the state level. And I also want to thank our two terrific county executives because they've been in this from the start and together with their county councils who are represented here today, made that really important local commitment. So to County Executive Ike Leggett and Rashern Baker, thank you for being such a great team for this region and for the state. I also want to thank, as Ike Leggett did, all of those citizens who have been part of this effort. And it is an important moment to pay tribute to people like Harry Saunders because that persistence over really a period of decades is what has helped bring us here today. To my colleagues in the federal delegation, I want to thank them as well because I mentioned it's like a relay race passing the baton from one to the next. I want to thank Anthony Brown for his work, both as a new member of Congress, but also his previous work as Lieutenant Governor. Thank you to Anthony Brown. And to those who went before him in this congressional district, both Donna Edwards and Albert Wynn before that. That shows you how long this project has been going on. I want to thank Steny Hoyer, who's been steadfast in his commitment, somebody who represents College Park in the United States Congress and has been devoted to this project from the start. And of course, to Barbara Mikulski, who for many, many years at the federal level helped lead our delegation. And of course, to my partner and the senior senator from the state of Maryland, Ben Cardin, who has been part of this project from the start. This is going to put over 6,000 people to work in the state of Maryland on the construction project, over 400 ongoing jobs. As all of us know, it's going to connect up different parts of the metro system. It's going to connect to all parts of the MARC train system. It's going to connect to Amtrak. It's going to be a great benefit for the citizens of this entire region in terms of economic development, in terms of less congestion on the roads as more people take transit, and of course, in terms of cleaner air, because this is an electric run train. So I want to thank all of you who have been part of this win-win-win approach to transit and economic development in our region. It really has been a great team effort at the state level, at the local level, and at the federal level, and at the citizen level, making sure that all branches of the federal government, the state government, and local government help bring us to this day. And finally, to our private sector partners, I want to thank you. It's going to require a continued ongoing communication to make sure that as we build out this great new system, that we protect local communities, that we make sure that we protect the hiker-biker trail. And in my view, we can do all of that. And this is a great day for our region, for our state, and thank all of you who are part of making it happen. God bless you.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. I was just trying to make sure that there was a lot of funny looks between everybody up here by having Senator Van Hollen speak before Congressman Brown. I'm just reading, right? I'm doing the order, so I'm going, okay, I was afraid I'd gotten it out of order. So, Senator, thank you. And our next speaker represents Maryland's 4th Congressional District. As a delegate, as a former lieutenant governor, Congressman Brown is dedicated to public service, has continued to support the Purple Line. Please welcome Congressman Anthony Brown.
Thanks, Secretary. Thank you, Secretary Rahm. And before I offer just a few brief remarks, I do want to make one observation as we are celebrating the delivery of a tremendous, a huge mass transit infrastructure project. Let us not on this day forget, and let's keep in our thoughts and prayers our neighbors in Texas who are wrestling with Hurricane Harvey and who will no doubt be undergoing a very protracted recovery where life, limb, loss of property is at stake. And as we think about infrastructure and what we're announcing today, the challenge that they're going to have going forward, redeveloping their infrastructure. So turn to the occasion at hand. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Most everyone that should be acknowledged has been acknowledged, but I'm going to do a little bit of that myself anyway. I want to thank also the members of the General Assembly. A lot of them are here today, as was pointed out. My county executive, Rashawn Baker, thank you for your leadership, along with Ike Leggett at the local level, putting up the resources, the finances, your contribution to make this project work, your county council members working with you to make that happen. I want to thank the community as well, the advocates like CASA, like Purple Line now, like local labor and business and the investment community to make this happen, as well as the University of Maryland. I want to thank Secretary Chao. Oh, they're in the house. There they are. Secretary Chao, thank you for your leadership of a very vital federal agency. And I want to thank Governor Hogan for continuing the commitment and the process to making sure that the Purple Line does, in fact, happen. I want to thank Chris Van Hollen and the entire Maryland delegation in both the House and the Senate. More than 2 decades ago, we started the work on a project that one day today would begin transforming the way that Marylanders in the National Capital Region travel daily. And today, after years of planning, negotiations, and even delays, and the repeated customary attempts to derail a big project like this, and it's par for the course and it's expected, and that's what makes the project great. We're breaking ground on this critical 16-mile light rail line that will create a more closely integrated region. With tens of thousands of expected daily riders, the Purple Line will connect more people to reinvigorated neighborhoods, employment centers, arts and entertainment districts, and new local businesses. By investing in Maryland's transportation network, we'll connect people from Laytonsville to Riverdale. We'll connect students from Montgomery College to College Park. We'll make it easier for commuters to get on the Metro to visit Washington or on the MARC to visit Baltimore. The groundbreaking of this project represents a monumental step forward for spurring economic development, revitalizing communities, developing pathways to opportunity for hardworking Marylanders, and above all, creating good-paying, family-supporting jobs. This project will generate millions of dollars in economic development, thousands of jobs, and its tracks, figuratively and literally, lead to the exact kind of inclusive growth that communities in Prince George's County and Montgomery County need right now. Stretching back to my earliest days in Annapolis, to my time now in Congress today, I've remained committed to working with each and every one of you in moving the Purple Line forward. Working with the General Assembly, we champion the innovative public-private partnership model being used to design, build, and operate the Purple Line, the first of its kind transportation project in Maryland and one of the first in the country. This P3 enabled Maryland to leverage private sector investments and expertise to lower costs to taxpayers while maintaining our commitment to pay workers a prevailing and fair wage, maximize participation by minority-owned businesses, and ensure sound environmental protection. And signing this full funding agreement today is the last critical piece of the puzzle. The Purple Line is now a reality. In Maryland, we took a balanced approach. And Governor Hogan, I want to thank you for your commitment to this balanced approach, making the tough decisions like raising the gas tax so we can make greater investments in our roads, bridges, and transit systems, while expanding and exploring new models to meet our infrastructure challenges like public-private partnerships. The Purple Line should be a model for the country as we confront the extraordinary, unmet infrastructure needs throughout the nation. Over the last 50 years, our national investment in transportation has shrunk by 50%. That's simply unsustainable. States, both red states and blue states, are doing more. 2 seconds. We passed P3 legislation in 33 states and we increased the gas tax in nearly 20 states. It's time for Congress and the administration to step up, work together in a bipartisan manner, and pass a well-funded, balanced infrastructure package to meet the needs of the National Capital Region and communities across the country. Thank you very much.
Congressman, thank you very much. So, it's now my opportunity to introduce my boss, who just told me, keep it short. However, I have to tell you a little background here. So get comfortable. No. The reason this project is, in my opinion, actual legacy for Governor Hogan is that obviously people have worked on this project a very long time. But when you look at the project and where it was at when the governor came in, the wants had become a little overly exuberant in the add-ons to this project. At one point, the cost of it was estimated at $2.4 billion. That simply means the project could not have been built at that price tag. So the governor gave me straight direction. We have to have federal funds, we need more support from our partners, and you have to bring the costs down. And you know, working with our proposers on this project, we ended up with a great team from the Purple Line Transit partners. And their proposal, based on a $2 billion estimate for construction, is going to save us $550 million over the estimates of this project when we started. $500 million was saved on this project because of the direction of Governor Larry Hogan. Governor Hogan is the person who has made this possible. I am very proud to work for him, to work for someone with his vision and his commitment. Please welcome Governor Larry Hogan.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I told Pete to keep it short, and as usual, he did not listen. But thank you. Thank you all very much for being here today. Secretary Ron, I want to thank you and your incredible team at MDOT, along with Kevin Quinn and all the people at MTA. They actually deserve a huge round of applause for all their terrific work to get us to where we are today. Thank you. I want to thank our county executives and the members of our federal delegation for all of their efforts, and especially want to thank Secretary Chao, whom you'll hear from in just a few moments. She took this project on from day one. We went to meet with her as soon as she became secretary, and she's championed this project. But I also want to thank all of the other distinguished guests who helped make today possible. I'm pleased to be here to finally celebrate this exciting, long-anticipated achievement for Montgomery County, Prince George's County, the National Capital Region, and the state of Maryland. More than 2 years ago, I announced that our administration would be making the decision to move forward with an innovative, cost-effective new plan for the Purple Line, a long-term investment to connect New Carrollton and Prince George's County to Bethesda and Montgomery County with a 16-mile east-west light rail system that will include 21 stations. The Purple Line project will be an incredible and important economic driver for Maryland. It will integrate seamlessly with our current transit systems, including Metro, MARC, and Amtrak, to provide more transit options across the region. Just the construction alone will mean thousands of jobs for Marylanders. And the Purple Line will be a transformative, long-term asset to our state. Getting to today and being ready to begin building the Purple Line depended on several deliverables. First, we needed increased local investment, and I want to thank Montgomery County and Prince George's County, and County Executive Leggett and Baker and their councils for stepping up and agreeing to invest $330 million towards this vital project. Second, as Secretary Ron said, building the Purple Line depended on proposals from our partners in the private sector that met our vision for a more efficient and more cost-effective project, which allowed us to save $550 million for the taxpayers. And the final critical component that we needed to get this project underway was the availability of $900 million in federal funds. I want to thank Secretary Elaine Chao and the administration and our partners in Washington, as well as Maryland's congressional delegation for their strong support to help make this happen. Thank you. From the beginning, we have been one team, Team Maryland, working together, and we have successfully secured this important federal funding. And now that we have finally cleared this last final hurdle, immediately after this ceremonial signing of the funding agreement, we will actually begin construction of the Purple Line today, right here, in just a few moments. This multi-billion-dollar infrastructure project is a big win for the state of Maryland, and it will be a major benefit to the National Capital Region. It's the largest P3 public-private partnership ever undertaken in the United States of America. It's a shining example of what can be accomplished when our federal, state, county, and private sector partners all work together. Thank you again to everyone involved in making today's announcement possible. We are fully committed to the future of Maryland transportation, and we will continue to find the most cost-effective and innovative ways to rebuild and improve our state's transportation infrastructure systems. The Purple Line is just one more way that we truly are changing Maryland for the better. Now, I have the great honor of introducing to you our next speaker. Without her support and leadership, this project would not have happened. She's been a longtime friend of mine, somebody who I admire and respect. This is her second cabinet position. She served as Labor Secretary from 2001 to 2009. She was the first Asian American woman to be appointed to a president's cabinet in American history. And she's doing just an outstanding job as the nation's transportation secretary. So please give a warm Maryland welcome as I introduce my very good friend, Secretary Elaine Chao.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. This is a great project. So, please. Thank you, Governor. I am so pleased to be here for today's groundbreaking, and please give my very, very best regards to the First Lady, Yumi Hogan, who we adore. Before I start, I would also like to pause for a moment to say that our hearts are with Texans who endure the onslaught of Hurricane Harvey this past weekend. We want the people of Texas to know that their fellow Americans are with them and behind them. We've been in contact with Governor Abbott, and I've mobilized the men and women of the Department of Transportation to provide whatever assistance Texas requires to restore the state's transportation system. Helping each other is a value that we all share. Thank you, Governor, for this wonderful day. What a crowd we have here, and so many supporters, patient supporters, I might add as well. I am so pleased to be here to launch this wonderful day where we're actually going to have groundbreaking to mark the start of this wonderful new project. Let me also acknowledge Senator Van Hollen, Congressman Brown, County Executive Baker and Leggett, and representatives from the Purple Line Transit Partners. And I see also State Senator Susan Lee here as well. Thank you all for your support along the way. Today, we're kicking off another example of what Americans can do when we work together. I am so excited. This is going to be the future stop, a future stop on the Purple Line Metro. The signing of the full funding agreement will provide $900 million toward the total cost of the Purple Line. Now, combining the U.S. Department of Transportation assistance with private funds, this project is well on its way to transforming public transit in urban Maryland. It's a public-private partnership which brings private resources into the mass transit system. And when it's finished, commuters would take an estimated 41,000 daily trips. By 2035, that could increase to about 56,000 daily trips. The Maryland Department of Transportation estimates that this project alone will create more than 52,000 direct and indirect new jobs. Not just, I think you should clap on that, Governor. This is not just in the construction phase, but also in the economic development that follows the new transportation hub. So I want to underscore several aspects about this project and why it's so special and why Maryland can be an example to the rest of the country. First, it will be supported by a partnership with the private sector. The $5.6 billion contract between the Maryland Department of Transportation and the Purple Line Transit Partners will be used to design, build, and operate the light rail line. This public-private partnership, or P3s as they're called, are widely used throughout the world to fund innovative transformational infrastructure projects. Public-private partnerships are relatively new in the United States, but they hold great potential to help rebuild and revitalize our aging infrastructure, because we do not have the money for every project that needs to be done in this country. And while they don't work for every transportation project, public-private partnerships have many benefits, including access to billions of dollars in private capital. They can accelerate project delivery, lead to greater innovation, and greater efficiency as well. Second, the Maryland project has favorable characteristics that more projects in the country should emulate. And a key one is that state and local governments also had some skin in the game. And I want to compliment the two county executives because they also put in the money from the county. When communities do that, we are in it all together, then the federal government can be a real partner. The department is focused on making it easier for states to utilize these types of creative funding solutions. We also want to encourage them to leverage resources to make taxpayers' dollars go further to support sound projects around the country. The administration's comprehensive infrastructure plan seeks this creative approach not just for transit, but for highways, rail, aviation, and port projects as well. And the Purple Line is a great example of what can be accomplished when the federal, state, local, and private partners work together. This is a truly collaborative effort, And Maryland should be very proud of the work that they did to secure the funding needed to make the Purple Line a reality. It is just one of the reasons that the project received such a high and positive rating. So congratulations to Governor Hogan, his team, and everyone at the Maryland Department of Transportation and Prince George's and Montgomery counties who contributed to this project. Governor Hogan, you and I have spoken about this project. As soon as I arrived in office, you came to pay a personal visit, and you made sure that we understood the priority of this project in the surrounding region. I also want to recognize Senator Van Hollen, with whom I've spoken as well. I also want to recognize our team at the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Federal Transit Administration, especially its Executive Director, Matt Welbus, who worked so hard to make this happen. We all are so pleased that the Purple Line project is finally off the ground, not off the record, and that we are finally on this day where we can dig some dirt and have this groundbreaking ceremony. Once again, Maryland has led the way in showing what a great example it is and what can be accomplished when the private sector, the state, local, and federal governments work together. Congratulations. Job well done.
All right, let me tell you where we're headed now. So, we are on a train that is on the tracks and it's only headed one direction, and that's forward. So, the process for us now is the governor and the secretary will go over and sign.
Okay, got it.
Either side, okay. I got you. What you want? He's the guy. That's a lot of cameras.
Thank you. Oh, there's Chow.
I think we got to put our hats on, right? My head's a little bigger than that. Thank you. Okay, let's maybe further turn at all these cameras.
On your count, Governor.
Everybody get a shovel full of dirt and hold it up.
Everybody get a shovel full.
Just get a shovel full and hold it up
Everybody hold it.
and smile and look at the cameras in front.
Why don't you give
Smile
us a
and look at
countdown?
the camera.
Go 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Can we try that again, please?
One more.
On one.
It's just turning.
3, 2, and 1.
That's the senator that's through the dirt department. Hey, don't do that. You got to clean that up.